Welcome to the Rippin Nuts Podcast. It's Papa Smurf Ed Buonocore.
And the producer, Thomas, over here in
we,
the house.
We need a intro. Today we have Joey G with us today. But,
what up?
But Joe, we need an intro. This is how our intro goes every week. We need something flashy.
Okay.
But not your problem. But I just figured, we'd let you know. Not an exciting intro.
I'm not too flashy.
So Joey G, how you been, brother? Good?
I am doing great.
Good, man.
Hanging in, bro.
Joey puts in a lot of work. Now, I met Joe through OCR Racing, Spartan. I think we met at Spartan, right?
I think it was Rugged Mate, something like that. I know. So you were just walking around, and I was like, "That's that guy that posts like good luck everybody every week." And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I don't usually talk like that, but I don't know what possessed me to. You seem like a nice enough guy, an approachable guy, so I was just like, "Hey, what's up?" There's dude that posts all the good luck, and these are the races this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I kind of was like, "Yo."
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That and there began a wonderful relationship of.
Oh, behave.
So, Joe, I met you obviously at races, but
Right.
You're like, I read this quote, and someone said, "If you run, you're a runner. Don't make excuses." Because I always say, I run, but I'm not really a runner.
Right.
But you're a runner. You run.
I'm not a runner neither.
Yeah.
I run here and there.
Yeah, here and there, all right. So, but let me ask you this. Now, you weren't always a runner, right? Like,
No. It started when, back about, I want to say, about 10 years ago, which, is in my 30s,
okay.
I started running. And it was to kind of calm my mind from what was going on in my life. And I was married, and in my marriage, we found out that my wife had stage 4 cancer. And they said she wouldn't live long. And it just kind of got to me. So I started running to kind of take my mind off of things.
Sure.
And no, I in high school, in fact, the track team wanted me on the track team because like I was pretty good at the mile, doing the like mile run, and the track coach had guys come up to me and ask me to be on the track team, and I was, of course, me. The only reason I'll run is if the cops are chasing me, right? So. No, to answer your question, no, I was not always a runner.
Okay.
It came on later in life.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about that. Obviously but I mean, I can understand that. I say that sometimes when I run, there's days that it's very therapeutic.
Yes, very, very, very therapeutic, and that's the way it is for me. And not all the time. It is sometimes for workout, but most of the time it's just like to calm down from the day, so that's where it's at now. It's mostly, and I signed myself up for some crazy stuff sometimes, so let's just say,
Yeah.
and I just wing it, not wing it, but I like to test my mind, body, and soul to these races. And it didn't start until, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I started really getting into it. So.
Yeah, because I remember you running a lot of, Spartan races.
Yes.
And then the first long one that I remember was you were going to try and do 100-miler.
Okay.
That's the first long one that really sticks in my mind with you. And it's probably not the first long one you did.
No, but yeah, that's the one New Jersey Trail Series where I got hurt.
Right.
90 miles in and had to stop. Well,
So close.
I know. And the kicker, I don't know if I ever said this. If I would have went back the right way, because I went back, I traced backwards, like to the start line.
Mm-hmm.
If I went the other way, I would have finished. I didn't even realize that, like, until someone told me that, like, a month later. They're like, dude, if you would have just went the right way, you would have finished.
Yeah.
What? That even burns more. You know what I mean?
That makes it even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I can't believe like. But then again, my knee was the size of a cantaloupe.
Wow.
I'm a skinny dude, and my knee was pretty swollen. I thought I'd have surgery or have to have surgery, but that wasn't the case. So
yeah, that's good news. So what was so that's the one that sticks out in my mind. What was the first? Now you ran. I think I remember you ran ultras, the Spartan Ultras. So those, right?
I did.
So those are 30, right? Around 30 miles.
Yeah, they're 30, 31, 32. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where I started. Everything was Spartan. I had season pass, and I went to a whole bunch of different states. I went to like Montana. I did one in Colorado, California, Hawaii, a lot of states. I just basically, I think it was like 2015, 2016, the year 2015, 2016 that I had season pass, and I just took off. And I was in and out of town like the circus, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even day. Like, it was weird. It was a good time, though. It was great. It was awesome. I'll never forget that experience. Some really, really, really awesome times, with the whole Spartan thing. I don't run them as much anymore. It's just, I evolved from that, let's just say. A little bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and so a guy like yourself, you run 30 miles, and you say, I can do that, and then there's a progression, of course, right? Yes.
There's a progression, and I kind of took it a little overboard. So I got through 100, and then there's for New Jersey Trail Series, they have this thing called 3 days at the fair, and it's a 1 mile loop, and you run that 1 mile loop for 3 days as far as you can go.
My God.
Yeah.
Talk about my mental strength.
Yes, and that kind of got me into multi-day events, and but I mean, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Like, the people you meet great people, as you know, through running. And I met some pretty awesome people through that New Jersey Trail Series 3-day event. There's a guy that ran from Alaska to Florida. So, I mean,
jeez.
Yeah, and he holds the record for bad water. Like, he's a bad dude, a really, really bad dude. So that introduced me to not only running, like in a circle, but at the same time, introduced me to running multiple days. Let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
I started with Spartan, got 30 miles, 32 miles, whatever, with the obstacles up and down the mountain and everything like that. And then my body, I was fine after it. So I was like, let's see what else I can do. So went out to Bryce Canyon and ran a 50 miler out there.
Now that had to be nice.
It was nice, but it was brutal because it was during the day. It was like want to say it topped out at 100 degrees.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet you it was hot. Yeah.
Hot. I mean, I ran out of water a couple times. It was hot, dude. So yeah. I mean, being without water for a good couple miles, and I didn't know how far I was to the next aid station. And aid stations are where they give you food and water and stuff like that.
Okay.
Is, people don't know. But yeah, I was like 2 or 3 miles out and no water, and it was 100 degrees. So it did, and it got scary at the end because people were just dropping near the finish line, like from dehydration and stuff like that. So it did get scary.
Yeah. Now, that race, did you complete that race?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because I had a running coach, and she's like, I don't think you're going to do this. And that was like fire to me. Like, oh, really? I'm not going to do it? Really? Okay.
Tell me I can't, and I will.
Yeah. It was hard, but I got through it. Like, I mean, I might have finished with like a half an hour left, but I still finished it. Like, but
Wow.
it was, then I went to 100 miles, and then that's when the New Jersey Trail Series thing kicked in, and it was a 3-day event where you just ran as much as you could. And I think the first time I did it, I got 180 miles in 3 days.
Wow.
And I was upset because I didn't get 200.
Well, yeah, of course.
But it is what it is, and it was a really good learning experience for other races.
Yeah. Now that 180, that was held in New Jersey.
Yes. Yeah, it's called Sussex County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And there's a mile loop. And you've run the New Jersey Trail Series before.
Yes.
Same people that run them races run the 3-day event.
Okay.
And I think May or April or May. The same week as Tough Mudder Philadelphia. That's why I was missing them for a couple years that. But yeah, that same weekend. I don't know if that's April, May, something like that. So
yeah, I can imagine. Like, I'll go to the gym, not recently because of the whole mask thing, but when you go to the gym and you run on a treadmill, like 3 miles on a treadmill feels like 7.
Yes.
But I can imagine you running 180 miles, but 1 mile loop must have felt like you ran 1,000.
Yeah, it did. It really did. But at the same time, like, there were people around. It wasn't like I was alone for too long, which kind of made it easier. Like, and then, like, you would link up with someone, hey, do you want to run a couple miles? Yeah, let's go out and run a couple miles and blah, blah, blah,
okay.
blah.
Yeah.
There's a place also for your tent, like, for that event. Mm-hmm. Like, you could camp out and, go out and run whenever you felt like it. So, yeah, it did. It felt like, but at the same time, it felt like a lot, but at the same time, there were people always around. So it didn't feel like, wow, I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And there's nobody here. That's a different story.
Yeah.
And we can get to that if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. So you went from, now you did that race.
Yes.
So that was as many miles, and you said you did 180.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me go back, because you had a coach. You said you have a running coach.
I dropped her after she told me I couldn't do it.
All right.
Do something.
Like what? Like if I guess when you say like someone like myself that I run, does a running coach provide something for you aside from not telling you can't do something? I mean, were there some benefits to it?
Yeah. She told me like about like different aid stations and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I knew about like in the Spartan race they have where you can sit your bins.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's not called an aid station. She taught me all about aid stations and different things. Like gaiters for your feet so rocks don't get in there, stuff like that. But I don't know if it was just her, but we went out running a couple times, and she's like, yeah, that's a very hard one. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, not what you want to hear from your coach.
Yeah, like that just met me. You know what I mean? Like I don't get that, but it is what it is, and she might be still out there coaching. I never went back to her. Like you don't tell me I can't do something. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think as a coach, and I can understand to a point if I'm a coach that might say, maybe you're not ready for a race like that, or you say, hey, give it a go, see what you got. Like, let's see what you got. Come back, tell me where you failed or where you felt you failed, and then we'll build from that.
Yeah, because I mean, every run I do is a learning experience. Even the smaller runs, I tend to feed myself while I'm running to see what works, what doesn't work. Because you don't want to be in the middle of a race and your stomach act up.
Sure.
It's happened to me. I'm not gonna lie, but you just don't want that to happen because it's not fun. It's really, really not fun being out, a couple miles out and there's no bathroom or no, you know what I mean? Like
sure.
So you want to know what you're fueling yourself with. You don't want to try something new in a race when you haven't put it in your body.
Yeah, I've read that they always say, like, whatever fuel you want to use, you use it. You practice runs. You go out for some miles, you use your fuel, see how your stomach reacts. Because you're right. Even if you're on a loop, let's just say, and you're 5 miles out, you're still 2.5 miles back from the start, probably where the bathrooms are. Not cool. Like that.
Yeah.
That could definitely be a problem for 2.5 miles.
Yes, it is. It truly is. I know. I really do, but
yeah, no, and I've read. I mean, I don't run distances like you do, but I have read articles where guys and women have said, they've had days where they just had to stop. Like, they've had gastro problems and it's just not a good day to run. And you just chalk it up and you say, well, now I know, but yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, we've all been in our car driving home from somewhere and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
I'm on it.
Is that a yellow light or a red light? Because I got to go through. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the feeling, like that's your day.
Yeah, I mean, and you're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you better have something around. You know what I mean? Like it's an awkward feeling.
Sure.
Trust me, it's really, really, really awkward. But you have to do it. You know, and it's not fun.
Yeah. Now, like, not to get off because we'll go back to your progression, but fuel wise for you, like, what is it? What works for you?
Believe it or not, gummy bears.
I love gummy bears.
Cliff bars.
Okay.
I don't use goo anymore. That got to my stomach after like 50 miles. So I stopped using goo. Potatoes, that sort of stuff, like carbs, as much carbs as I can. I also like, and this is different than a lot of other people. I love Fit Aid, and if I get a Fit Aid in like every 15 miles or so, it just, I don't know. Something about the carbonation helps with my stomach.
Okay.
It just, it also has a little bit of caffeine in it. And that's another thing. Like on these longer races, caffeine is kind of key sometimes. You're going to need it, especially when you're staying up for long hours.
Right.
It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, because I know, like, there's a guy I ran the world's toughest, which was an overnight run, 24-hour run.
Right.
And there's a guy I follow on Facebook, and he fuels himself on chocolate donuts. That's what he eats.
Yeah.
And is that good for everybody? Probably not. But
Yeah.
it worked for him, and he probably just sticks with it because
Right.
it works.
Right. And so for races I travel to, I usually go with what they have at the aid station. I kind of look at what they have at the aid station, and most of the ones that I travel to have awesome aid stations. They have like cheese quesadillas, bacon cheese quesadillas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird, but your body just, well, it's not weird, but when you're eating that, um, your body just consumes it. So it's like it's just more fuel.
Right.
And it's not like, because you hear that stuff and you're like, wow, that's a lot of junk food. That must really get to your stomach. But in that case, you're just burning so many calories.
Right.
You need all the calories you can get
Yeah.
to get through. So, I mean, yeah, it's junk food, but at the same time, it's kind of good food too. So,
Yeah. You need something like and when we ran, and of course we ran through the night and it got cold, and we were living on every few laps. We were doing those ramen noodle
the noodles,
cups
yeah,
because they
yeah,
have someone. We had help, and they were filling them with hot water. Obviously,
right,
and it's a little cup of soup. But
right,
but I've been at races where you kind of deplete yourself, and
yep,
it's a horrible, horrible feeling. And the minute you eat something, it's like life is just kicked back into you. It's like you're
yep.
like, whoa, like you're like, man, holy cow, I feel good. Like something's in me, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to go again.
Every food is the best food ever. Like it could
Right.
be the worst. It could be so great, and then you're like, that's the best food ever. Like that's the way it is. It's
Yeah.
it just you're so hungry, you don't care what you're eating. To be
Right.
honest, as long as it just any food in is just amazing to you, because especially like you're saying, 24-hour events, you're burning a lot of calories. I want to
Yeah.
say probably about 5 to 10,000 calories in that time period. You got to think you're hungry,
Yeah.
so anything you can put in yourself, you're you're that much further with recovering.
Right. Yeah. And it's always like we always laugh because that first meal after a race, you eat and you always say to yourself, I don't know if this is good or I'm really
Yeah,
hungry. And it's probably a combination of both, but you are really starving after a race. And
yeah.
like even those Spartan races, I mean, you're exuding a lot of energy on those because you're
Oh
doing a
yeah.
lot of hill work. And I shouldn't
Right.
say hill, some of these are mountains.
Yeah.
And when you get that first full meal, which is pretty close to like right after you finish,
Right.
whatever you're eating is the best meal on the planet.
It is. It truly, truly is. Like I remember, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but after one of my longer races, and I'll tell you which one it is after we talk about it. But I went to Denny's and I like
I love
ordered the
Denny's.
menu, right? It was just like right across from my hotel. I'm just like, I'm hungry. I'm to eat, right? So I go over to Denny's and I order the menu, and like, and sometimes it's weird. That first meal, your eyes are bigger than your stomach,
Yeah, of
because like I
course.
said, I just like ordered like, I don't know, 5, 10 pancakes, eggs, bacon, blah 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 blah, and I couldn't eat it all, and I was just like, what's wrong? But it just, sometimes it takes your stomach time to adapt to what just happened to you,
Sure. Yeah.
because it's sometimes you put, well, not sometimes, you put a beating on yourself if you're doing longer races, and you know I didn't realize how banged up I was at that race, after that race, till about 2 months later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I started feeling different things, and I'm like, wow. This was big.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. All right. So,
yeah.
all right, we'll circle back now. So you did 180, and then
Yeah.
you went to what? What was now you're thinking, I can easily do 100. I missed
Right.
2, so now I gotta find a 200-mile race.
Right. And it's funny you say that because I remember the day I signed up for it. So, what was it? 2019.
Mm-hmm.
2019. January 1st. I remember Gene and you and I went to what's that called? Blah, 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 blah. Over in Jersey. Oh man, it's Round Valley.
Round Valley, yeah.
Sitting there, and you know, a couple years before that, I was watching, or it came through Facebook, that this woman was tearing up a 240-mile race out in Moab, Utah.
Courtney DeWalter was her name, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try that, right? And I remember waiting for you guys, and I'm signing up at the same time. And I signed up
in your car while you're waiting.
Where there's like hardly any service at all.
Right.
And you guys pull up, and I'm like, guys, I think I just did something either really, really stupid or really awesome. And you're like, what? And I go, I just signed up for a 240-mile race. And, like, I was scared.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I realized that, but I was scared. I was really, 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 really scared. Because the unknown, you know?
Sure.
And that's just a circle. It is a circle, but it's a 240-mile circle. So
right.
You're not going back, or you're not seeing any, you know, you're out in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
And and when I mean the middle of nowhere, I mean the middle of nowhere. There was a time where I was alone for 8 hours at night there, and we'll get into it more, but that was an experience in itself.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So Joe is talking about the Moab 240.
Yes.
Right. So just to give people an idea, so this is a 240 plus miles race.
Yeah.
The elevation gain is ascent and descent. You're looking at almost 30,000 both ways, right?
Yes, that's equivalent to almost Mount Everest, I think.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think.
So it's a just about, you get 112 hours if I'm not mistaken. It's 112 hours the cutoff time. It's like 5 days.
You did your homework.
Yeah, I'm doing my homework.
Yeah.
So there's this big single loop. Yeah, Everest is 29,032 and this is 29,467. So you're right. It's beyond Everest.
Right.
So this is what happens. The race begins in Moab, Utah. They run
Correct.
southwest from Moab by the Colorado River, and then the canyon section, and then south to the Ohabo Mountains, and then north to the LaSalle Mountains, and then back.
Yes.
So that's the race. So because I was looking this up, it was funny because there was an article just recently written on the 15th in the Daily Californian by this guy. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. He's probably not listening, but that's okay. Ethan Moats. And it was called Inside the Moab 240. And this is the title. One of the most diabolical races in the U.S. And he starts this off, and I'm quoting him. He says, "If I get lost, hurt, or die, it's my own damn fault. This is the solemn oath recited by those bold enough to toe the line at the annual Moab 240.
Yes. So what happens is so let me take you through it. So in the morning, I get there, and they're checking to make sure everybody has a tracking device on them.
Okay.
To that way they know kind of where you're at throughout the course. So you get there, and it was cold. Believe it or not, it was really, really cold during the day or at night, and it was warm during the day. But we started at, I think, 6 a.m. It was dark. It was still dark.
Okay.
So we get there, and we're standing around fire and everything like that. And then the race director comes out, and, they do the Star Spangled Banner, everything like that. Then she goes into this speech, which you're talking about. If I get lost, I die. It's my own fault. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew everything was real. Like, I mean, it just hit me like, what? Like, again, like I was calm for a little bit, but then she said that, and I'm like, you had to say that, didn't you? And she has a longer speech, and she's like, yeah, if I die, get lost, or what? Forget the exact wording.
Sure.
But yeah, and then she's like, okay, go. Right
and
after
that's
that.
It.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, like, you just start through the town of Moab, and Moab, I don't know who's been there, who hasn't been there, but Moab's a cool little town. It's there's a couple state parks around there. There's I forget the one, but Arches is there. Arches National Park, or sorry, not state, but national park.
Yeah, national. Yeah.
Beautiful area, absolutely beautiful area. So you start running through it, and it's a little small town. And that's what, like, most of them towns in Utah. I don't even think. I think I'm saying they're more like small towns. They're not cities,
right?
But they consider cities. But this is a cool little town where you can rent like little, not mopeds, but like the 4-wheel ATVs.
Yeah, like a quad or an ATV. Yeah.
It's an amazing area. I can't explain it. Like, the pictures don't do it justice.
Sure.
So we start running up through the mountains and everything like that, and so about 30 miles in, there's this big drop, but it's like a staircase. And I got talking to somebody, and they go, "Yo, did you see David Goggins?" I'm like, huh? Yeah, Goggins is here. Huh? So apparently they signed him up under a fake name, so no one knew he was there.
Oh, okay.
And he was in that race. And you probably know from following along that he was in the race. I had no idea until like 30 miles in.
Yeah.
He was even there. But that race, I want to say, was the most awesome experience ever. Like, I mean, it was high up there, because you can't put stuff like that into words. There were so many ups and downs during it.
Sure.
I mean, I saw things that weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, looked like a bush, but it really was a bush. It was just so awesome. I was telling you, I was alone for 8 hours, and there was like a highway, and I saw lights in the distance, and the lights were getting closer to me, and I'm like, oh man, I'm in the middle of Utah by myself, right, with a backpack on, which probably had about 20 pounds in it the whole time, like most of the time. Like, because of the water and the gear that they mandated. Car gets closer and closer and closer, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, and I don't know what time it is because it's just dark out. Because you lose track of days, you lose track of time.
Yeah, right.
So this truck pulls up to me, and I'm like, I might be getting kidnapped. I might get shot. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have no clue.
And he's like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm doing the Moab race. Oh, awesome. Keep going, guy. I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh.
Oh, it was nice he stopped at least, you know?
Yeah. But imagine being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Black. I mean, it's night. So there's like, I'm not talking suburbs. I'm talking about middle of nowhere. No, There's no signal. No, I can't call anybody. I can't, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, it's pitch
all
black.
there is a tracking device on me. And, you know, this guy pulls up and asks me if I was okay. And you know, we're from a different area to where someone pulls up on you.
Yeah.
Right?
We think it's going down.
Yeah. You have to throw fists. You know? He'll probably beat my ass because I'm beat down right now.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
I'm gonna swing, you know. But yeah, that was an amazing experience. It really was. I could sit here and talk all day about the different things that happened. You just can't put stuff like that into words.
Yeah, I could imagine.
It's an amazing experience, and I don't know if you heard or not, but I'm going back.
I
again.
did hear. Yeah. Well, you have to go back.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things that I could have done differently. I'm a little critical of myself, and not little. I'm pretty critical of myself, and there's a couple things that I could have done differently. So I want to go back and just see if I can get a better time. I think
of course.
I know I can get a better time, but there's so many unknowns that, you know, I mean, like we were talking about the stomach problem earlier, you know, there's so many things that you just can't be like, okay, if I get stomach problems here, I'm going to do this. No, you got to be adaptable in that sort of stuff. Right. And that, you know, you just got to learn to adapt to whatever comes. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You have mentioned Goggins, and I think the year before, just so people listening, the year before, I think he placed second in that race. He goes the year that you went. I don't know if he. I'm just going by what I had read.
Okay.
But that year he went, he had to withdraw because he had the high altitude pulmonary, whatever it was called, edema, right?
Yes.
So he gets sick. Now this is now people who don't know, David Goggins, ex-Navy SEAL, a savage dude, and this guy has to get pulled out of the race. This race is no joke. It's not for the faint of heart, right?
Yeah, no. I wouldn't listen, Ed. You know me. I can't tell anybody they can't do anything, but this is something you don't want to do without experience. There's a part of the race that you're 26 or 27 miles with no aid station. So whatever you have on you is what you have on you. Like the food you have, that's all you have.
Yeah, that's it for 30 miles.
That's it. That's a long time being out on a trail, you know,
yeah.
With no water, you know what I mean? Like there was no water stations in that area. That's a long way, you know.
Yeah.
Might not seem like a lot, but when you're 120 miles in or whatever it was, it's a lot because you're beat down. Your body's beat down. You're mentally tired. You're drained. You're just, you're low on calories. It's rough. I mean, I would, like I said, I would never tell you can't do anything as long as you put in the work. But I would not make that my first race. Let's just say
right.
that.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't go and try something like that. Just to wing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, you and I think this is what happens to ultra runners is, you ran 30, and then I run 50, and then you get to 100, and then at that point you're like, well, can I do more than 100? So yeah, so the progression's there. I can't imagine people just going out and going, whoa, this Moab 240 looks great. Who's in? Like,
yeah. No.
It's not the race to just kind of, throw a backpack on and head out.
Yeah, no, it's really not. And they put that in the so they give you a runner's manual, and it's pretty funny because they send you this runner's manual, and it's a pretty serious race. Like we're saying,
sure.
Anything can happen. You could die. You could be stuck on a mountain for a while waiting for help to come. It's a serious race. And in this runner's manual, like they're like helpful hints. Number one helpful hint is, and I don't know, you can beat me out if you have to.
Nope, no beeping.
But, don't shave your balls. That was the number one. Don't shave your balls, right? So apparently, I think maybe the first year someone shaved their balls and it was like a bloody mess because of the fact that shaving.
Yeah.
This is like a really, really serious race, and you're telling me not to shave my balls? Really?
I hope they tell the chicks the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But seriously, and I couldn't stop laughing because, like, again, there's a lot of serious stuff that can happen to you, but they chose number one is don't shave your balls. So,
classic.
It really is. But yeah, no, I would never tell someone to just go out and do that. Oh. No, that's not. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the woman you spoke about, DeWalter.
Yeah.
She finished that. I read 2 days, 9 hours, and 59 minutes, which is impressive as hell, I would imagine.
Yeah, that still stands. That
does it?
I
okay.
don't. That's per break. Yeah, there was a guy the year I did it, 2019. He did it in like I think 80 hours. I don't know, but he still was like 4 or 5 hours off the mark. Yeah. And like we said, David Goggins. Again, he did it. You're talking about a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And he didn't beat her.
Yeah, I mean, he's not only a Navy SEAL, but he's a big ultra runner.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's just not a guy that shows up. I mean, he's putting in his work.
Oh yeah. I mean, that guy, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. And here comes this little woman, like, and she tore it up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and that's how I got even into it. I was like, how is this happening? Like,
yeah.
And like you're saying, the time is just unreal. Like, that's unheard of.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Hours or something like that. I forget the actual time.
It was almost 2 days, 9 hours and 59 minutes. So almost 2 days, 10 hours, pretty much. Which is that's impressive.
No, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's and because I follow her on on Instagram and everything, and she wanted to do. So there's a 3 races that are called the Triple Crown of 200s, and one of them's called Bigfoot, which is in Washington. One of them's Tahoe, which is in Tahoe, like Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
And there's the Moab 240, and the other two are 200 milers, the Tahoe and the Bigfoot. And she wanted to do Tahoe in under 48 hours, and she was upset that she didn't do it, which is still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
When you're talking about elevation and running on trails and everything like that.
And that's through the night.
Yeah.
With nothing but a headlamp, right? You're just wearing a headlamp.
Right. And like you said before, they start the clock and they don't stop the clock for anything. Like any of the elements that come along, they don't stop the clock. It's running until you finish.
Right.
And if you don't finish, you get pulled off the course.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that happens. Like you said, David Goggins got pulled off the course because he had some pulmonary problems up running through the LaSalle Mountains.
Sure.
It was definitely rough up in that area. I remember us, and I linked up with a couple of people, and we were just, taking steps, and we'd have to, take breaks. We'd be like, okay, get to that tree, and at that point we were seeing faces on the tree. They were birch trees, and the lady that was with us was like, they're ninjas. And I'm like, they're not ninjas. They're not ninjas. Yeah.
Not funny, but yeah. But that's from sleep deprivation, right? Like after so many hours, yeah.
And calorie deprivation, being exhausted, She's like, yo, they're ninjas. And I'm like, no, they're not ninjas. And she's like, can you come up front? And I'm like, yeah, I'll come up front. And we were like, let's get to the next tree. And we would have to stop and breathe because it was, at night, it was cold. Like our hydration systems were frozen.
Wow.
So what we would have to do was we would put them underneath our jacket to warm it up with our backs. That's how cold it was. It was like single digits at night. It was like 60 to 70 degrees during the day and then single digits at night.
Wow.
You can only imagine how the heat and the cold it got to you. Now we're from the East Coast and we get cold weather all the time.
Sure.
But they have this the Facebook group, and in the Facebook group they're like, it gets cold. It doesn't matter where you're from. It gets cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really cold. And like I'm saying, we had to put our hydration system in our back, like pretty much between our back and our jackets, just kind of warm it up. And I remember having to squeeze it to try to get some water out of it. That's another,
because it's iced over now.
Yeah, it's iced over at that point. So,
that's insane.
And they have certain sleep stations where they had beds set up and stuff like that. But some of the areas were A, too hot, or B, too cold to even get some sleep. So that's another thing. If you wanted sleep, I mean, you would just put your your backpack down and take a nap right on the ground. That's a lot of my sleep was just on the ground.
Wow.
And hopefully, I was like, I hope a mountain lion doesn't come and get me. But at the same time, I was tired.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
I mean, it can really get to you. And so back to where I said I know I could do better. And the danger of it. So about, I want to say almost 200 and some miles in, there was this guy that was out of his mind, basically out in the middle.
I remember this. Yeah.
I mean, he was looking up and you knew something was off with this guy. So we kind of took him in under our wing, like just follow us along, and you know, he could have died. The guy could have easily died because he was running out of water. His mind wasn't all there. I mean, there were certain steps we were taking, and he's like, "Do these people mind that I'm stepping on them?" Like, so
Yeah.
it's really dangerous. He was seeing stuff, hallucinating, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So we kind of took him on our backs to get him to safety. And we got to the aid station, and so we kind of like told someone to like watch this guy and see if he's okay. So we thought nothing about it, and we just kind of went on our little merry way. We stayed at the aid station for a little bit, grabbed some food, and we went back out. And so we're back out there, and Aaron, who I'm with, was like, "Joe, is that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's that guy." What did they like? Like he must have, I don't know, got some food in him, and he was okay. But then, like all of a sudden, again, he's
back
out,
at it.
like in the space. And at that point, we were closer to the finish than we were to the aid station. So we didn't want to DNF, So we were just like, "Come on, buddy, come on, guy, just get through." And then like we started playing like little games with it, though. We were like, "Look at that rock, and it looked like a fish." Yeah, it does. So it was scary in the fact that guy probably could have died. And so after the race, they have this a buffet basically the next day, the morning that I went to Denny's. So this was the race that I was thought I could eat everything, but I really couldn't. During the ceremonies, they give out the first place and everything like that. The guy came up and goes, "Thank you. I could have probably died." And I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't let you and anybody I saw out there not go to safety."
Sure.
Even if it did cost me a DNF, and we knew at that time it wouldn't, but at the same time there was a lot of like, "Hey, come on."
Right.
Like we had to coax him because his mind just wasn't there. Like, and that's the scary part of it. It was scary. That was the real part of it. And like you said, this is not for the faint of heart. It wasn't for the faint of heart at all.
Yeah.
That's where it all hit home. Like, wow, this is real. That you can die from this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I remember you were running.
Yes.
And we were at Ragnar at Wawayanda State Park.
All right.
And I remember and signal was terrible there. It was so terrible.
Yeah.
But I remember you had sent us a map, like it was like to track the racers.
Right.
And through the night, it was every time someone would go out or come back in, "Where's Joe?" "Oh, okay. So we saw him. He's over here. He's over here." But I remember distinctly, and I remember talking to you about this soon after the race. I remember at one point I saw you coming. I guess you were rounding the northernmost portion and starting to head back. There was a dot on the screen, like off the track.
Yeah.
And I think it was that dude because I said the number. He had a number.
Yep. And I can tell the number, but I don't want to call the guy out.
Yeah, no. I don't remember the number, but I said, "Was it this dude?" And you said, "Yes." So it looked like he was even lost at some point.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was definitely like looking out into space. If we wouldn't have grabbed him, something bad probably would have happened to that guy. Like and like I said, it's scary to know that, and that's one of the more reasons just not to do that if you're not
Sure.
prepared for something like that. It's scary because that guy, like I said, he was running out of water too. He was
Yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere, and because Erin looked and she's like, Joe, is that guy again? And we thought he was still at the aid station, was still getting food and water and stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And so we kind of went over to him and like, yo, you're off course. And he's like, do these Martians care if I'm stepping on them? Like, this is such a cool city.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, just follow us, dude. Just follow us. And it was hard to get him to follow us because of the fact that he was his mind just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And like I said, he didn't realize it until he got some sleep how bad it was. Because the next day he was like, Joe, I'm thankful for you. Thank you. Thank you. And he's like, I could have gotten really hurt. And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you run a race. I mean, listen, we've run races where people have gotten hurt and they're not that long.
Yeah.
It all it takes is a single misstep, and there
Yeah.
goes a leg, an ankle. You can roll down a hill. Anything can happen, right? And now you're going to throw in the fact that now you haven't slept or if you've slept, you're sleeping, 20 minutes here, 20
Yeah.
minutes there, or whatever.
Right.
Now you're throwing in tired. Now you're hallucinating. So, I mean, my assumption is the trail that you're running on is pretty well marked, right?
Yeah, it was. At that point, there was a couple of times when it wasn't, but we had. So what they do is they tell you download this app, and you can get where you're at on
Got it.
there
Yeah.
offline. So that was also in the play. So if you got lost, I mean, yeah, that's why the race director is like, if you get lost, it's your own fault. But
Right.
not realizing the whole, you lose your mind because you're tired,
Yeah.
depleted, and everything like that. You're right. He could have walked off the side, and we weren't at low altitude. We
Right.
weren't at altitude when this was happening. If he made a wrong step, he could have been down, 30, 40 feet,
Sure.
hundreds of feet, thousands of feet. I mean, so, because it was a slow descent back into Moab. You know, it could have been really, 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 really bad. And I'm glad that we found him because I mean,
Absolutely.
he was pretty far off. So I'm glad we did find him. But in that time that so I want to say about, I don't know, 200 miles or something like that in. We had all known that David Goggins, he had to get dropped from the race. So I'm running along, right? I'm running along, not thinking anything of it, right? And I had my phone's in my book bag or my backpack and everything like that. And I'm tired, and I hear these feet like. It almost sounds like a horse. I don't want to say it, like I hear. I'm like, who the hell is that? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I turn around, and I hear. I don't see who's there. I just hear, "Hey, what's up, brother?" And I'm like, that voice sounds really, really familiar. It sounds like David Goggins. I turn around and there's David Goggins, right? And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, and it doesn't dawn on me, yo, get your phone out. Because he was doing that. He was like, some guy at an aid station had an inspirational video. Like, he shot an inspirational video for his son. He's like, stay hard, right?
That's cool.
Like, you got to certify that you're badass and blah, 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 blah. So this whole time I'm talking to him, I want to say it was probably a minute or two.
Yeah.
Like like my phone's in my book bag or my backpack, and I'm just like, he starts off again. Like we just talked, and he's like, stay the course, keep going, you're doing awesome, blah blah blah. Really nice guy. He starts running again, and I'm like, oh my god, let me get my phone. And by the time I started calling him, he was already gone. He just.
Now, was that before he? That was. Because
No,
I think I remember that was after.
Yeah, that's how bad dude is. You know what I mean? Like he's passing people that, and for those that don't know, he did go back from where he had to drop, and finish the race. He finished it on himself.
Right.
How it was classified as a DNF because he had to go to the hospital.
Right.
So, it was classified as a DNF, but he went back and finished the next a couple hours afterwards.
That's badass. Because,
I mean, I don't know. There's no words for that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's an amazing feat in itself. And the dude just like, and like I said, he was blowing by me. Like he was, I don't know. Like it was like, and he's running by himself. Like it was nothing.
Now,
like, oh my god.
You, I think it was 250 start the race, right? Something like that.
About 200.
So, what's the finish? How many finish? What's the percentage? Like, is it?
It's a pretty. Believe it or not, it's a pretty high percentage. But I'm not saying. I want to say, in all, you know what? I have in the group, in the Facebook group, they posted like from year to year how many finishers. Like the first year there was only 120 people that did it. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's not like there's a lot of finishers. There's probably less than 600 finishers all time.
Wow.
And that's like in the world, you know, like worldwide. You know, so.
But I would imagine a race like that, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a high finish rate because it's not your everyday runner that's jumping in a 240-mile race. These people who are going to take this on, like you, have put that work in.
Yeah.
You know, now, like David Goggins, something can happen.
Exactly.
So some people will not finish because you never know what can happen, but it's not surprising that a high percentage finish because these are people who have put in the work to run 240-plus miles.
Yeah. I don't... I mean, I want to say 70%, but I don't know that the actual number. But I know it's pretty high. I know I think about 120 of us finished that year, 2019. But I'm not sure of the numbers. They did post the numbers on the Facebook page, which was interesting. Like, because I always wanted to know how many people actually did finish. And like last year, there was I think it was a down year because it was so hot during the day. It was like a mild year, meaning it was probably like 80 during the day instead of like 70 where we were when I went. And then it was also warm at night. So I don't know. I would think that would be more of an advantage, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, because it was real. Ed, I don't know, man. It was really cold.
Yeah.
Like, we're from the East Coast, and it gets cold, but it was really cold. Like,
yeah. Well, when we did, Gene and I missed last year.
Right.
Or the year before, because I don't think it was last year. But anyway, when we ran, that was in Atlanta, and the day was, 70s, and the night went below 30.
Yeah.
And so when you looked at, like, when you think about that, and that's of course a little different because we were getting in water and stuff like that, but the point being is that a lot of people didn't finish that race because it got so cold at night, people just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
And so like I said, you go out in a race like that, whether it's a 24-hour or for you a 5-day race, anything can happen in that time. But again, there's some athletes out there that are running this race. What was your finish? Like, you remember your finish time?
I don't. I know I was. I think I had like 4 or 5 hours left. But then again, like I said,
Yeah.
I was trying to help this guy through, and I'm not making excuses at all.
No, no, absolutely not.
I wanted to make sure that guy would be okay. Like that took a couple hours off of
Sure.
my
I would
time.
imagine.
That's kind of why I want to go back to kind of see what I can really do. You know what I mean?
Do you have a goal? You have like a time that you say I want to do it by, or
I want to beat my old time.
that's it?
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I'm not a big, you know, I gotta run 6 minute miles, and I'm not big on that. Like if I finish, I finish.
Right.
Like I don't. It's like, you know, 5 minutes before, and it's funny because they ask you on the Moab race, what do you think your time's gonna be? And I put 111 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I have no idea. You know, and I mean they probably laughed at it, but I don't ever really look at times. The only time I look at times is for cutoffs. Like
Right.
I just want to be cut off because of the fact that, you know, that hey, that happens too. People just, you know, stuff happens and you get cut off of time. And that was one of my goals, was not to get cut off of time. I mean, I was in the back of the pack, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, that was my only goal, was to survive that race, because I've never tried anything like that. Like I said, you guys pulled up and I was like, I did something stupid. You didn't. I mean, so yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I can't wait to go back. I really can't. I also I'm signed up. So the reason I'm going back this year, another reason I'm going back this year, is because I'm signed up for a 330-mile race out in California.
California race, right? Yeah.
9-day event, or 9.5-day, or something like that. And they had to cancel. Well, not cancel, but postpone it. It was supposed to be this year, but since the wildfires out in California, they can't hold the event. Plus COVID.
Right.
Out in California, it's like they're saying, like, getting permits. It's kind of like the East Coast. You know, there's hardly any races going on. Like, and if you do hear one, you're like, oh my God, there's a race! Holy cow!
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of postponements with races, so
Right.
Postponed till 2022. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Well, I can tell you, like I said, I'll go back to that night, and I remember watching. And then the next day, I think Ragnar finished Sunday, right? It was Friday into Saturday, and we finished. Did we finish Saturday? We may finish Saturday.
Saturday, probably, yeah.
Because I think your race finished the same day, no? Is that right?
I think I was after. I think mine was like Friday to Tuesday or something.
Okay.
Friday or Monday or something like that. Monday. I know it was all a blur. Like I said, like none. Like I just knew nighttime or daytime. That's all I knew.
I remember distinctly watching the run, because I remember seeing you start, and I had in the app, it allowed you to pick a number and to track. So because in the beginning you saw all these dots. And I was like, I don't want to see everybody but your number. And then I saw Goggins, and I said, oh, let me see where Goggins is. And then I remember at one point his stopped. Like it stopped, and I was like, I don't think he finished. Something happened. But you were still going.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up one morning, and that would be the first thing I would do. I would look at my phone, and I saw you like so close. When I say close, you were probably 20 miles from the finish, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna finish. He's doing it. He's doing it. And I was so thrilled. I was like, this is amazing, you know? And knowing you, first of all, with that guy, I know that there's no way you would have left that guy, because that's who you are. That you would, and I, you know, not that I run those races, but I would do the same for someone. I would rather not finish a race than not help somebody. There's just no, to me, it's not worth the whatever to know that somebody could get hurt, right? Yeah. But knowing that you went out there, and I had known that 100-miler you missed by the 10 miles.
Right.
And you did this 240. I thought, you know, that's just incredible. But I was so happy and proud because I was like, I know you put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you work hard, and to see it happen, I don't know. I'm sure you were thrilled, but I know I was thrilled. I was more than thrilled. I was like, this is an accomplishment that I got to see. I watched it. I watched you go through, and I was real happy for you because I think you're a great guy. I've run with you before, and I know the way you work, and it's always a privilege to run with you. And
for the kind words, I don't even know what to say to that, Ed. Like,
no.
It's awesome hearing your side of it, because all I know is my side of it being out on the course. You know, like there were some awesome stories that people were telling me that happened while they were watching me run through Moab. And to me, listen, I did that for my family. Like, I threw out that, hey, follow me, for my family. Like my mom. My mom was like, oh my God, you're running 240 miles? You're going to die. Like, not like that.
Right,
but,
right. She's worried about you. That's your mom.
Exactly. So here's the link to me. I had no idea so many people would follow me, dude.
Yeah.
I really thought it'd be a couple running friends, and that would be it. And then, like, people were telling me that it brought their family together. Like, and there were people following me that I have no idea who they are. They were at work, and they had this thing up, and it was me, like, running around the circle and Moab. And to me, that was awesome. That was like I loved hearing the stories because of the fact that it was just like some running nerd, you know, like I could see myself running, right? Some running nerd has families like, hey, where's that guy at? Where's that guy that you know that's running all them miles out there? Like, and that's the same, like what you're telling me is the same story I heard from a lot of people. Like, there were people staying up late, like weren't sleeping as much because they were following me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not used to that. You know what I mean? Like, I like to run. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it was to me. Like, hey, I'm gonna go out and try this, and if I fail, oh well, you know. But the stories I got back from that were it was just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to people. I have a friend that I remember telling him, and he would call me and go, "Hey, where's your friend? Where is he?" And I think it's just for people who run, you know, and again, I'll go back to, I don't really think I'm a runner, but I run 240 miles. That's no joke, dude. I don't want to drive 240 miles, let alone run it. And for people who don't, they look at that almost as if it's a superhuman feat, you know? Yeah. And the truth is, it is. I mean, you can probably count, you know, the number of people that can do that kind of race. Not everybody is going to step to that line, you know? And for people to watch that sort of human feat of strength and just being that durable to run, that thrills people. I mean, I know it thrilled me, and I could tell. Like, he would call me all the time. How far out do you think he is? Is he going to finish? Yeah. He's going to finish. I can't believe this. This is incredible. And you just get caught up in that fever that not that like we weren't watching you run, but there was a dot, and I'm like, that's where he is. That's where he is. And, look, he's gonna reach the finish line. There it is. Like there he is. And it was just so thrilling for me. And then people around us, and obviously the people that our team and everything, everybody was. Are you watching? Are you watching? Yeah, I'm watching. Are you watching? Like it was a thrill for us. But like deep down inside, for me, I know how hard. Listen, I get up. I think I get up early in the morning, and you're already out on the road. You're doing your thing, and I know in my heart, I was like, man, if anybody deserved to finish this race, it was you, because you put the work in, man. And not saying nobody else did, but I know you. I know you. I talk to you, and I know the kind of person you are, and I'm like, yeah, this guy works his ass off. He deserves to finish this race, and then you did it.
Right.
And it takes it to another level. It was just so cool for me to watch, and I know that a lot of people felt this way, and I know that I remember you saying, because I wrote you on Facebook, and I'm sure a billion other people sent you messages, and I remember you saying, I came home, I had so many messages. You were like, I got to get back to all these people, but I can't believe it.
Yeah. So I had people text me, "Are you still alive? You okay? Blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
And I real quickly put on Facebook, like, me with the medal, I'm okay, I'm alive, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so this is where I made a mistake. So I didn't save a day to go back to drive to Salt Lake City from Moab. So my flight was out Salt Lake City the day after, not the day after the race. Oh yeah, it was. Listen, like I said,
it's a blur.
I almost missed my flight home because I couldn't drop. Like, Ed, I'd been up for I don't know how many hours.
Yeah.
And it was a 4-hour drive from Moab to Salt Lake City. It took me 9.5 hours because I pull off and just take a nap because I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah.
So I had my phone off the whole entire time. I couldn't focus on anything else but just getting to my hotel room, which was like 5 minutes from the airport, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta get there. And then, like, again, I'm not in my right mind. And I'll even get into just one more story. But so all my stuff is all scattered through the Jeep that I have, right? And like, I wake up late and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to the airport. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to make my flight.
Right.
So I scatter my stuff all over. It was all over the Jeep. And I'm just like throwing stuff in a bag. I had to throw a whole bunch of stuff because I'm just like, I'm a mess. I just need to get to you know what I mean? Like, and I remember people looking at me like, oh my God, what's wrong with this guy? Like, and me not how I looked, but I look like, I'm surprised. There was one person that told me I look like hell after it. Like, I mean, oh, dude, you look like you just got beat up and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, nah, I didn't know. Now, like, when I look back on the pictures, I'm like, yeah, I look like death. I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, you did.
And I didn't even realize it. Someone at work was like, "Are you sick?" Like, they thought I had like cancer or something like that because I lost that.
Yeah.
They didn't, and I kind of keep my running thing like side from work, so I don't always tell everybody what I'm doing at work. They thought I was sick, so I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me I look like horrible? I look.
Well, you had just went to war for 240 miles. It took a toll on you. You know?
Yeah. So, back to the messages. So I had my phone off. I land in Philly. I turn my phone back on. bling, 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 bling. I'm like, what's going on? Oh my God. I'm seeing like messages, and I'm like, what is going on, right? So, what's it called? So, what? I see a message come through. What day is the party? I'm like, party? What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? So the people at the gym threw me a party. You guys threw me a party. But it was like, I wasn't ready for all that. I mean, deep down, I know where it was coming from, but I was like, wow. Like, I didn't. So you saying that it's an accomplishment, I don't always see it that way. I mean, listen, I see it that way, but I don't. I just, it's something I enjoy doing, so I don't look at it as like, wow, like starstruck type thing. No, I'm just a guy that likes to run, and I like to do it. You know, like I like to. It's basically for me to see what I can do, and we're all put on this earth for some reason, and I just want to see how far I can take myself. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I just want to tell one more story, and
yeah, I'm here. I'll listen.
Okay. So about 50 miles in to the race, I had a jacket, and I put my keys to my Jeep that I had borrowed, from the airport in my jacket, and I remember seeing them at like 150, 140 some miles, and I'm like, why did I put my keys in my jacket? I should have put them in something else. So I was at an aid station, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just throw it in one of my bags, right? So not thinking anything of it, right? So I get done the race, and I'm going back, and I'm like, I'm asking a volunteer, what aid station is such and such at like 140 miles, and they're like looking it up and stuff like that. I'm like, the keys to my Jeep are in that bag, right? So like, I had my bag spread out everywhere, and you can imagine all the food and all the stuff I needed. So
right.
Everything's all over the place. No keys to the Jeep, right? No keys to the Jeep. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? Like, you can only imagine just getting done a race and not knowing where the keys to your Jeep were, and it's a rental car. So, and I'm 4 hours away from the airport. So I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here, right? So, I mean, after, I want to say an hour or two, the volunteer's like, look, they're not in here. And they're like, but wait, let me go ask. Let's go up to the where the race is, like where the finish line is, and ask. And she goes, hey, did anybody find the keys to the Jeep? A Jeep? And they're like, there's the Jeep guy. There's the Jeep guy. I fell out in the so they bring back your bags, right? And the keys fell out into the truck. So they saw these keys to the Jeep, and they're like,
okay,
where's this guy at? Like, obviously he's gonna know that he can't get.
Yeah, they knew you'd be looking for
right.
him.
like, oh my God, I'll never do that again. Like,
yeah, you need a separate pouch for your keys next time.
You know what? I think I'm bringing someone out with me this time. The guy I run with, that's kind of I'm showing him the way of the ultra world, and
okay,
Joel, his name's Joel. I run with him here and there. I think he's gonna come out and help me out or pay something.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'll be a big boost. Plus, I know a couple people that are going back. Like a lot of people are like the year I ran are coming back to it. Like the guy. So in Denny's, I met a guy that told me about the 330-mile race, and good luck to Sean. He might not even listen to this, but I really you want to hear something crazy? He's out in the middle of Wilderness, Alaska. It's called ITI Rod, and it's How you doing?
Oh. That's my wife.
I just see people walking by. But he's out in the middle of Alaska, 350 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
You gotta show you can do something like that. So they have like this base camp, and if you can get through the base camp, you can do the run. If you can't get through the base camp, you can't do the run.
Okay, got it.
He just posted a picture of a moose, and the moose is up like chest deep in the snow. That's where he's at. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And he's like, he's telling me about this, and I'm like, if I can get to Alaska, maybe.
Now you're ready to go.
But, I mean, crazy, 350 miles, and they're running over lakes and stuff like that. So the lake's frozen. He's telling me about people have fallen into the lake, stuff like that. Moose are very, very, very aggressive animals.
Yeah.
And but good luck to Sean. I hope.
Yeah, good luck, Sean.
Yeah, like I said, he sent me a picture of a moose, and moose are 8 or 9 feet, and it was chest deep in the snow. So yeah. So there's definitely
pretty cool.
More things out there that I'm like, can I get my hands on?
Well, we will definitely. Now the race is when the Moab.
October. Yeah, middle of October. Right. I hope it's not if races go on this year around here, I hope it's not the weekend of way beyond it, because I want to come out and do that with you guys again. I love that weekend.
That's a fun weekend.
That was an awesome weekend. I'll never forget that weekend. That was such a good time, bro.
That is Ragnar is a great time. That's for sure.
And look what I got.
And you're wearing the Ragnar sweatshirt.
Yeah.
So it won't be the same weekend now.
I forgot you're not recording this.
Yeah, that's okay. But
that's why I was like, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I really want to do that with you guys if that goes on this year.
Definitely. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back.
I miss you guys. I truly do. I haven't seen you guys in a long time since.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been difficult, but I'm thinking realistically that maybe by summer's end things will open up. That's what I'm thinking. I wish it would be sooner, but I don't know. It's just hard to say right now.
Yeah,
it's real hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess we'll have to plan to get you back on after Moab at least to catch the news stories.
Hey, man. And, dude, I was pumped for this. I was kind of upset that I had to wait 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be on call and have someone call me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, I got to go, Ed. See ya. You know what I mean? So, and I'm like, I hope he's still on for tonight. I was going to text you today, and but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to bother you.
Nah, never a bother.
Yeah. And I'll definitely anytime you want me on, just say a word.
Yeah, we'll get you on here and talk about some other races that you're doing.
Yeah.
And
I have a couple that are in the mix. I'm going back to Zion. And that's where Joel, that'll be his first official 100.
Wow.
We're going out to do that. And then I just put my name in for Leadville too. Leadville 100. It's out in Colorado. Buddy, that's running. He's automatically in. But I got to go through a lottery. So
okay.
It's kind of like the New York Marathon.
Yeah, the marathon. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll get in, but if not, I'm going to go out there and help them anyway. So.
All right. Well, I wish you luck in that one. I hope you get in on that.
I thank you.
Yeah, man.
And we gotta definitely also get out for some runs, bro. Like
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
get
I
runs, you know.
yeah, I need to get some running in. It's kind of fell off a little bit. I did that virtual Tennessee run,
Yeah.
which was kind of fun.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I definitely need to get out and do some runs. So we definitely got to get together and put some miles on.
and I want to apologize about missing Romy's ruck.
Hey, listen, it is what it is. Everybody can't be there every year.
Yeah.
And but I know that you're one of the good guys, Joe. And so it's okay. Like people come if they can make it. If they can't, we understand.
Yeah.
You got a lot on your plate and you got to take care of some things. So you do it, and take care of things at home. And we're here, man. You ever need a shoulder or you need to yell at somebody, call Gene. Because no, I'm just kidding.
I'll just, or he usually messages me.
Yeah, anytime, man.
I gotta get out more. So
yeah,
I'll
definitely some runs would be nice.
Yeah, definitely like a ruck or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we'll get something. We'll get something on the books so we can get out.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on, man.
No,
I appreciate your time.
I thank you. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And we'll talk real soon.
Yo, Ed, just out of curiosity,
yeah.
When are you gonna put this up? So I can have people like listen or whatever.
It'll be tomorrow, and usually what I do is I throw the link up on Facebook. So just look for it, or I can send you the link. I'll send you the link.
Send me the link.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
See everything on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again.
Yes. Anytime.
All right, brother.
All right, take care.
You have a good night. All right,
bye.
Bye.